Hey guys, does capitalism have you down?
Does the constant pressure to be productive get to you?
Are you tired of being a cog in the machine?
Then we invite you to be a part of the revolution against toxic productivity by embracing the useless things.
Welcome to episode 55 of the Very Unimportant People podcast.
Do less.
I'm your host, Courtney, and this week I got my cats addicted to TV.
Oh, that's fun. And I'm your host, Lidia, and this week I moved out of my parents' home, officially an adult, living an adult life.
Tell us all about it.
Okay, so it was a lot. I have a lot more clothes than I realized, and I actually don't have a lot of storage for them. So even though I've been living away from home for about a week now, most of my summer clothing is still in bags on the ground. And I'm living downtown. And something super special about living downtown is that you can just find stuff on the road. Like, you could literally find stuff on the side of the road and it's perfect and it's exactly what you need. Like, for example, I've been looking for a coffee table, and yesterday me and my roommate went for a walk, and guess what I fucking found on the side of the road? This beautiful coffee table. It has like two levels, so you can put your feet down or you can put your feet up on top of it. It's a little tall, but I think it's like still perfect for whatever you want.
It's free.
You know?
It doesn't matter.
And it was free.
Who cares if it's a little too tall?
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm just like on the hunt for anything cool I could find on the side of the road, you know? And like, even when we were moving, because she's also one of my besties, so when we were moving her stuff out of her room so that I could move into her room, we were like, okay, we need to put this on the curb, we need to put this on the curb, and we need to put this on the curb. And we took this table and put it on the curb, and yesterday we went to go check on it, and the table was still there, but the legs and the hardware that attached the legs to the table was gone. I was like, why would someone just take the legs and the bolts? But welcome to the city girl. I'm a city girl.
That's so confusing.
It's just a part of it.
Like,
and
if your legs of your table don't work, like, just take the new table.
I know,
That
right?
works.
I don't understand. And the bolts were so specific for the table. Like, it was weird, like, bolt that goes in on an angle, like it goes into the corners of the framing of the table. So it was very confusing why they would only take like this weird bolt and then the legs. Like, I don't know, it just made no sense. So we were like, okay, it is what it is. And then I got catcalled too, which was super fun.
Oh, that's so fun.
I
Living
know,
in the city
I know.
things.
And like, it wasn't even like a cat call, I don't think. We were just walking and then someone said, blonde woman. And I am a blonde woman. And I was like, oh my God, my first time being catcalled as a city girl.
Isn't it weird though, like
Special.
how frequently we were catcalled as like young teenagers?
Oh
And
my
then
God.
As an adult, it's just like
I know.
people are like, they're too old. Those
Yeah.
23-year-olds, bleh.
I think about that all
Close
the
to
time because
death.
when we used to live in Carleton and like in Ottawa, I feel like that would happen to us a lot. And like we were 17 years old.
Or like
and
in
people
high
were like,
school when we used to go like downtown for those like we were in a drama program for those like
for
theater
the-
shows
for
and
the
stuff
plays
like that.
and
yeah,
stuff.
if you were downtown in Toronto in high school, it was sketchy, scary,
gross.
lesson
and
yelling.
like you could tell that we were on a school trip. We were with a group of like 18
Literally.
people. Like, why?
I had somebody once ask me if I was a prostitute when I was like probably maybe 13 or 14. I had braces.
What? Oh,
I had
what?
braces. And somebody asked me if I was a prostitute.
Oh my God.
No. No, I'm not.
That's so sad. I'm so sorry. That's so gross. Ew.
No.
What the
Anyways,
fuck?
men are weird.
Yeah, I hope it was someone who was like super drugged out or something and
Yeah.
like just had no idea what he was saying and who he was talking to, and maybe he just asked that to every woman who passed by him. I fucking hope so, because that's so
Very low
creepy.
standards, that man.
Braces.
Not to say that braces are bad. Not to say that braces are bad. I just very clearly look like a 13-year-old, like an
Yeah.
awkward 13-year-old.
Oh God, that's way too young to get catcalled. That's gross.
Ugh, man. Anyway, sorry.
Nasty.
Back to your
Anyways.
exciting city life.
Yeah, so everything is locked down. So unfortunately, there's no going anywhere. But we did order pizza last night, and it was $60. I was like,
I
what the
don't
fuck?
understand.
Two
that.
pizzas.
Did you get a receipt?
Yeah. I don't know how it happened. I honestly don't know how it happened. I still don't know, because they made it look like such a good deal online. They were like 2 pizzas and the cheesy bread, and it's like a deal. It's like only like like 8 something something, and I was like, that's a great deal. And then somehow it added on like literally $30.
Delivery,
I don't know,
like
tax, delivery was also a
$40?
thing, and then we paid for a bottle of Sprite too, which was only $3.99.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
Domino, explain.
Domino, please explain. And
Explain.
then we got extra cheese by accident, and like the delivery guy came to the door and he was like, these are so heavy because of the extra cheese. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize we got extra cheese. And then he like handed them to me, and I like pretended that they were super heavy. He thought it was funny. I'm just a
Such
local
a comic.
I'm just a local city girl. I live here. So yeah,
Getting to your end a little.
super exciting. Still looking to get some art on the walls. It's very empty as of right now. You might be hearing a little bit of an echo. That is because the walls have nothing on them, except for some stuff. But yeah, looking to get some more stuff. So can't wait to do maximalism decor. Re last week's episode where I hate minimalism. Minimalism is a ploy to get you to buy more storage.
Maximalism is a ploy to get you buy more stuff. Right back at
Minimalism.
Boom, roasted.
Shit. Yeah, you're right.
I'm kidding.
Being a good collector.
I
of
just
things
wanted to
is
fuck
hard.
with you. Stir the butt.
You did. Now I'm like, what side of capitalism am I on? Like, whatever I do, it's just.
There's no good
anyways.
side of capitalism,
There
so don't worry
literally
about
isn't. Okay, perfect.
It's not you, it's
Stupid.
capitalism.
It sure is. It just gets into every corner of my life. Mm-hmm. There's just no saving myself from it. Yeah. What did you do again this week?
I got my cats addicted to TV.
Yeah. What was that like? Tell me more.
Yeah, so basically there's this thing on YouTube called Cat TV.
Yes.
And it's just like recordings of squirrels and birds. That's all it is. Like 10 hours straight of like a bird feeder.
Oh my god.
And I just decided, like, I just thought I'd put it on one day. Just like, I really didn't think my cats would care that much about it. You know, we've had a TV in our home for a very long time. They've never really looked at the TV.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, my cats are so freaking addicted to this TV show.
Really?
Yeah, like the second they hear the little like bird tweets of like the beginning of the video, whatever room they're in, whatever they're doing, they literally run to the living room just to sit there and watch TV. And they sit there for like hours. And then they go to sleep for a few hours, and then they wake up, and then they just sit there again and just stare at the TV. And like, you know when cats like chat when they're looking at birds?
Oh, that's
Zola
so
does
cute. I love
that
it
at the
when they do
TV.
that. Oh my
She just like
God,
chats
that's so
all day
cute.
at the little birdies.
She's like,
And now that they've like
cute.
started like watching their own TV, every time that we're watching our TV shows, they like sit there and they watch our TV shows because now they're like aware that things happen on the TV. So they like watch our TV shows with us now too. They like sit there.
That's so cute. They're like
watch
waiting
little
for the
movement.
birds to come up again.
Yeah.
They're like, this is good, but where's the bird? Oh,
So I got my cat's addicted to TV.
Congratulations. Wow, they're
don't know
really
if that's
being
a good thing or
integrated
a
into
bad thing,
society.
but-
I'm not sure either.
I did some
They're not
research
aware.
and apparently it's like good for their brain. It's like good stimulation. So I'm gonna go with that research.
Yeah,
I feel better about it.
I
feel like I'm
that's
providing them with
totally fine.
entertainment. It's like a window,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly. And cats need that kind of stuff. Otherwise, they get super bored. So maybe that's why they were being so aggressive towards each other at one point. Or like,
That's what I was thinking too. Like maybe this will help with the tension in our household.
yes. Two female cats who hate each other.
Yeah, they
don't hate each other.
One is a little bit more aggressive than the other, but whatever.
Yeah. And the other's like scared. But it's nice that they can have a bonding activity, which is watching the birdies together. And then they realize that they're on the same side. Oh, they're like, we're both predators and we're both looking at the birds
And
at
like
the squirrels.
one of them, little Zola, really likes the birds. And Salem really likes the squirrels. So
Oh
they
my
like trade off.
God, that's so cute. Salem kind of looks like a squirrel.
I know. She likes the bigger prey, apparently. Maybe that's why she likes Zola so much. She thinks Zola's a squirrel.
She just thinks she's just this giant squirrel she could go after. Aw, I'm so happy for them. They have a new hobby, watching TV.
Yeah.
The nuclear family, bonding over movies, TV, all that stuff. And now,
Love it.
look at you. Your two kids finally getting along because they can watch birds on TV together. That's so fucking
When
cute.
you say it that way.
That's so great. No, it's fantastic. Like, as long as they're getting along.
All right.
Really cute.
Shall we get into it?
Let's get into it. I'm so excited.
All right. So I am kicking it off this week, and I am talking about the self-care industry and how self-care should not be an industry. And it's just one more thing that has been ruined by capitalism.
Literally. That's so true.
And before I go into this, I just want to say that, like, I'm not saying anything about bad against self-care. You should 100% care for yourself and do things that, like, make you happy and stuff like that. This is specifically attacking the industry of self-care. So before y'all get mad at me, self-care good. Industry bad.
Self-care
okay? All right. So self-care initially took off in 2016. This is really interesting to me, actually. So it initially took off in 2016 after people were unhappy with the results of the American presidential election after Trump won. Yeah, that's when like the whole industry like kicked off because people were like so depressed and angry about the results. So
he was a catalyst for like so many things changing in
They're
society.
Like,
That's
I need
insane.
to make myself feel better.
He created a whole
Buy
industry
this
by
face
accident
mask to ignore your reality.
Yeah. Wow.
And even though it initially took off in 2016, it really saw like its takeoff increase between 2019 and 2020, where Google search trends saw an increase of 250% of self-care related Google searches.
Holy shit.
Crazy.
That's a lot. Is self-care, does that include like I don't know, like baths, like that kind of side of self-care where it's like pamper yourself? Or is it like, you know, meditation, like
all of the above,
being
so
mindful?
Anything related to making yourself feel better, but there has been like a very specific industry created around these things.
Yeah.
For like things you can buy to do these things better.
Yeah. It's also like a whole influencer culture too.
Yes. Yes. Social media. Yes. We'll get into that.
Yeah, there is apps though. You're right. Like there's Calm and like I don't know what other ones there are, but yeah, damn, they really
The whole thing has been capitalized.
Okay.
So it is currently a $1.5 trillion business industry in the States, and globally it is worth $4.5 trillion.
I think that is our most expensive business that we've taken down on the podcast.
I think so. Like that is a hefty number, guys.
Yeah, that's hefty.
That's crazy. And 9 out of 10 Americans practice self-care. But self-care has kind of shifted away from an act of making yourself feel better and towards more like data about the self. So there's been a lot of one phenomenon is like a lot of these tracking devices, like wellness tracking devices are part of self-care. And it tracks your steps, your REM sleep cycles, even your breathing is monitored.
Yeah.
You know, when your Apple Watch like freaking it's like breathe.
Yeah, I hate that
I
shit.
know how to breathe, my dude. And it creates this like kind of illusion of control, and people start to quantify the amount of work that they're putting into themselves. And it kind of presents this opportunity for excessive self-criticism. It encourages you to fixate on moments that we fall short of our expectations and like you beat yourself up about it. And beating yourself up about things has not proven to be successful.
No.
To make yourself feel better, to make yourself like live a healthier lifestyle. It preoccupies us with failure and contributes to depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and negative self-image, you guys.
Oh my God. That's so fucking bullshit. I swear to God. Like, I don't know who is to blame here. Is it the app creators or is it human beings for just being bad at doing things that apps want us to do? They're like, this is such a positive thing. This is such a positive thing. And then we take it and we're like, oh God, I fucking suck. And is that a human condition?
Like, I wasn't able to do how many steps today. It's like,
yeah. Or is that just like the app, like whose fault is it?
I think it's like just a mixture of bad things making each other worse, you know? Like, I think that human nature does not mix well with the ability to know that much about ourselves and to like track ourselves in that way. Like, I just don't think we're supposed to know that type of data about ourselves.
Yeah.
And then
breathing
that
is something that you're not supposed to track.
Like intensive like social media and like internet things where you're seeing like, oh, you have to walk 10,000 steps a day to be healthy. Oh, you have to sleep this many hours a day to be healthy. Like, I think all of those things mixed together just created a really bad thing. Really bad storm.
I agree.
When in reality,
man,
we
that's
don't
so
need
sad.
devices to tell us that we're doing things better.
Devices made us worse, and now we
Yeah.
expect devices to try
Do
to
you
heal
feel better?
us.
Yes or no? That's what it should be. That's all it should be. In a 2020 study, no, not 2020, in a study, a group of
Just a
200
study.
women using Fitbits, 79% of them said they felt pressured to reach daily targets. 59% of them said they felt controlled by their devices.
Oh
and
my God.
30% of them referred to the Fitbit as the enemy.
Whoa.
And
That
all of the women in the study said that the Fitbits made them feel guilty about not reaching targets on a daily.
Oh my God. That's such
you just-
bullshit. And Fitbits
Don't
are like
need that extra negativity in your
$300.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
To make you feel
no.
you're paying to make yourself feel bad. It's stupid. It's stupid.
What the fuck?
And like I've been in situations too where I like when I used to wear my Apple Watch a lot, I used to if I went for a walk and forgot to wear my Apple Watch, I felt like the walk didn't count.
Oh my God.
was like-
I've experienced this. I have 100%
I don't know
experienced
how much
this.
exercise I got. This doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like it didn't track it. My
Yeah.
rings didn't move. This walk doesn't count.
Yeah.
the
I
safe
totally
walk.
understand that. I'm like, oh shit. I literally have to go into my own mind and be like, it's fine. Like, you don't run for the app. You run for yourself. Like,
Literally.
it's not about that. Like,
Like
I have to
pep talks.
calm myself down. Yeah. Because I forgot to turn on my freaking
I'm like, how many
stupid
calories
watch.
did I burn? How long did I run? How fast did I run?
Oh my
Son of a
God.
bitch.
It is very unhealthy, but I do like tracking it. I don't know why.
I know. It's
like,
obsessive, yeah.
yeah, it is obsessive. It's fun to see your progress too.
That's true.
But I guess you could just like track it in a different way. Like, you don't have to be constantly
You still, yeah.
on the
You can
Fitbit
still like
and
just understand how far you could run or like
Yeah.
how easy it is to run the same distance. Like there's other
Mm-hmm.
measures of success. Yeah. Yeah. So just all in all, I think these things were made to help us try to be better, but they don't make us feel any better and they're not self-care. Tracking your walks, steps, and breaths is not caring for yourself.
Damn.
The next thing I want to cover is social freaking media.
Yeah,
Social
let's go.
media and self-care, awful. So a lot of social media sites pressure you to share personal victories and never personal failures.
Yeah.
And kind of turn them into an opportunity of like self-marketing, of being like, look how great I am.
Yeah.
I did so many great things. And likes on photos such as things like gym progress or like healthy meals and stuff like that is almost intoxicating, and it becomes a source of motivation for people.
Oh my
Which
God.
sounds like it is a good thing to be like motivated. But
By
I
the
also
amount of
think it's
likes
not
that
a
you
good
get.
thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I think likes, the phenomenon of likes, is probably the most toxic thing that's ever been created.
Right. So to try to turn it around into like a let it fuel you, like that's not exactly the direction that it
It's
should
like
be
it's
headed.
also going to destroy you.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. What if you don't get those likes, you know? Like, that doesn't mean you failed. You still did an amazing job, but now you don't get those likes and you don't feel validated, even though you're only supposed to be doing it for yourself and for your own body. Like, no one else has to
Yeah.
live in your body except for you. So why do you care about the amount of likes that you get on your own, like, journey and on your own fitness? It just doesn't add up.
It doesn't add
It's
up.
just,
You're right.
it's just separate outside of your own person.
And like I've recently deactivated my Instagram account just for like
Yeah.
a short little stint of being off Instagram. And I have noticed that since I've been off Instagram, I felt less anxiety and stress over the way that like my body looks, or you know, if I might be like gaining weight, or like if it's looking any different. I don't feel that much stress anymore because I feel like people on the internet can't see me, so it doesn't matter
Yeah.
anymore. Which is
Yeah,
kind of
like, you're never
sad that
gonna
like
know.
before it and I didn't even post on Instagram. That's the thing. Like I
Yeah.
almost never post pictures on Instagram, and I still felt that way, just as like a bystander. So social
Oh my
media,
God. It's so bad for your brain, dude.
so bad. And research shows that getting a like on a photo activates the same part of your brain as eating chocolate or winning money.
Oh my God.
So it does have like a very
I'm an addict.
addictive aspect to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I've read that apparently being a passive scroller on Instagram and not contributing and not posting is actually more damaging than people who post a lot and or not even a lot, but like occasionally, and contribute to the kind of whatever the community. But it's actually worse to like not be posting at all and to just be absorbing it and stuff like that. I don't remember why, but yeah, if you're just like passively and you're like, it's fine, I'm just scrolling, I'm not posting, you're actually not benefiting yourself at all. And if you're not posting and just scrolling, yeah, you might as well just deactivate it at that point.
And this actually might be why. So there's the aspect of constant comparison that happens on social media.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, where you're constantly bombarded with like how well other people's lives are going. And I say that very lightly in quotations because like they're not actually, it's all fake on social media, right? Like it's not representative of what's actually happening in their life, but it feels like it is. And then you see all these people doing amazing things, eating healthy, going to the gym, hiking, eating good food, and you start to feel really bad about yourself because like, oh, I'm not doing those things, I must be worse than them.
I know, but I feel like I still know in the back of my mind that I'm like, this isn't what's always happening though. Like maybe this is only a part of the life that they choose to show, but I'm sure there's a lot happening behind the scenes that just like
that's a good mentality to have, I think,
real. I don't know. I like to think that a lot of people have that mentality now because of the way that like
I still find it like, even though I'm aware of that though, I still find it really hard to like interact with those kind of hosts on social media. Like there still is that part of my brain that's like, I should be doing these things too.
Yeah, I know, same. It's like, oh, I don't even do
though
that
I
once
know it's
to take a
probably
picture.
not completely real.
Yeah,
I'm still like, oh shit, I'm not doing that.
Oh my god. And you know what even a more like meta version of this self-care is that self-care websites or self-care like profiles are sometimes like, remember, everything on social media isn't as it seems, and like and then they post that onto social media. But,
so
like,
weird, right?
They're the problem.
I know. Like,
it's like, don't worry, it's not real. Yeah.
But it is. Shit. It is real. Social media is real. Everything you put on there is real. Real in the sense of the effects that it has, not in the sense that it's like actually representative of your life.
Yeah, it's just a portion of your life.
Yeah, but I feel like, self-care on social media I think is very negative because it makes people feel lesser than, and that they're not caring for themselves because they're not doing what other people are doing who are self-caring. Where it's like, it's not one size fits all for self-care. So moving on from social media, today, like generally overworking and being busy and stressed have been glamorized.
Oh my god.
It's normally seen as like, if you're not tired and you're not stressed and you're not busy, you're not working hard enough and you're lazy. And I think that this is like, okay, I'm going to sound like a socialist here, but I kind of am. So I think that the self-care industry has been like created to help people cope with the realities of this kind of lifestyle of being overworked, rather than actually addressing the issue. It's like a slap-on Band-Aid solution of like, hey, you're overworked and stressed, like meditate for 5 minutes. That's why you're stressed. Feel better. It's not because you're overworked and underpaid. It's because you're not meditating. It's because you're not running. It's because, you're not sleeping right.
And they're putting it all onto you. You're not expected to like it's always your fault that you're unhappy. Not that they created a toxic system. Like they created toxic apps with likes which don't make you feel better, and then you're expected to just like deal with it by meditating. Yeah,
and this is one of like the big problems that I have with like self-care is it's this individualization that happens where it's always put on the individual, that you're not feeling well because of your shortcomings rather than like a bigger systemic issue. So again, it's not that you're stressed because you're overworked. You're stressed because you didn't meditate when you came home. If you hate your job, you don't need a new job. You just need to do a face mask when you come home, and you'll feel better about it.
And like these funny because that's literally what they tell us.
Literally. And these things are also so easy for everyone to buy into. And it's like not the fault of anyone who has bought into it, because it's so much easier to tell yourself that like, hey, if I buy this one thing, my life will be better, than actually like taking a look at your life, right? They seem like such easy fixes.
Yeah.
And they promise such easy fixes that like it's so easy to fall into.
Oh God, you're right. And it's the worst when you do a face mask and then you're like still broke.
And you're still sad.
Yeah. It's like, why didn't it work? Is there something wrong with me?
This was supposed to make me feel better.
It looks like it's working for other people on social media.
And I feel sad still. Yeah, and then you feel like there's something wrong with you because you did self-care and you still feel bad.
Yeah, I'm not even sure that I know what self-care is at this point because they've just turned it into this like meditate
Industry.
and do face masks and shit. Like, I swear to God, I was happy. Maybe this had to do with just being younger and being less aware of the world, but like self-care didn't include doing face masks or taking bubble baths or meditating.
Self-care wasn't a thing. Like, as a concept, it wasn't a thing. Like, it was just
doing hobbies
things
that you
enjoy.
Exactly. And that could be anything. Like, it doesn't even have to be like these specific
it wasn't an
things
activity
that you could buy.
I'm doing self-care. It was just, I'm go
doing
crochet.
meal prep. I'm bored and I'm gonna go crochet. Like, forget about some problems or something like that. Like, what? Yeah, I don't think face masks are self-care, actually. I'm starting to think they're not.
And basically, like, within all of this, I think that self-improvement has kind of become a job almost, where like we hold ourselves to like quotas and deadlines and we expect certain payoffs. And it becomes less about the enjoyment of doing things, but more about like the results of doing things. And I think like it actually makes the issue worse. Because I know, like, personally for me, when I start holding myself to these, like, quotas and deadlines because I think that it'll make me feel better, I get more stressed about doing the thing because I find less enjoyment from the thing. So, like, a great example of it is running. I, like, cyclically...
That's cyclically?
I don't know. Yes, that's the word that I'm trying to say. I get into running, and then I get out of running.
Yeah.
I have never been able to stick with running. And it's because I start running because I think it'll make me feel better. And then as I do it, I start like hyperfixating on the distance and the time and like maybe weight that I'm losing and like getting stronger and stuff like that. And then it becomes stressful for me. Running becomes stressful. And then I stop doing it because I stop enjoying it. And like,
oh my God, that makes sense.
So dumb.
Yeah.
And this is like the self-care industry telling you have to do like X amount of this to do this. And you have to meditate for 20 minutes a day to feel less stress. When if you start forcing yourself to do these things, you're not going to find enjoyment out of them.
Yeah, that's so true. And then you're just going to feel guilty if you miss a day or like 2 days or something like that because you're too busy or you don't feel like it.
You don't feel like it.
Not doing things when you don't feel like it, I
is
think
okay.
That's self-care.
Yes. I hate this like whole mentality that you have to force yourself to do things and like
turn it into a habit. Otherwise,
that you're lazy.
It's not gonna do.
Yeah. If you don't force yourself into doing things when you like just don't feel like it, but
it's like sometimes I just don't want to do things. Yeah. You don't have to.
Personally, but then you feel guilty because you're like, I have to do this thing.
Yeah.
So self-care is stupid. It's a job. We treat it like a job. Putting certain inputs in, expecting certain outputs when like it's the wrong mentality to look at self-care with. Yeah,
it shouldn't be something that you're like grading yourself on. Like it's not a test, it's not a quiz, it's not your final exam, you know.
It's literally like, enjoyment.
Yeah.
Literally an emotion.
Having fun. Aw, we're so fucked.
And then there's this like really interesting thing that I saw a TikTok on that I just like wanted to focus on a little bit, and it's the whole like phenomenon of meditation and mindfulness. Yeah. And so they were talking about how meditation or mindfulness has kind of been co-opted and is being used in unethical ways.
So, wait, what?
Yeah. So the roots of meditation and mindfulness obviously are from the Buddhist religion, but it is open for everyone to practice and invite into their lives. So it's not like inherently unethical to do it, but corporations have started using it as a way to like silence their workers.
Oh no.
A lot of companies have like mindfulness workshops and stuff like that to help their employees handle the stress of the job.
Oh.
So instead of reacting to something that's unfair or unpleasant at your job, you can just take a few breaths.
Oh my God.
And it'll be okay.
And it's like, no, sir, I'm being hit in the back of the head.
I haven't had a break in 6 hours. I don't need a freaking take a few breaths. I need like labor rights, you know? I need a pay increase. But no, just take a few breaths. It's your fault that you're feeling stressed. Just take a few breaths and you'll be okay. So while practicing mindfulness is not unethical, the way that it's being used as a Band-Aid solution might be. Sure. And it's supposed to be like about a deeper dig into yourself and like your own emotions, and it's supposed to be a way to become aware of yourself and like get to know yourself more, and it's not like supposed to just make you forget about the injustices of your job conditions. Like it's not supposed to just be like,
Shit,
take a few breaths and you'll be fine. Just keep working. Hour number 12 is fine. Take a few breaths and you're fine.
Have a breath for break. Have a breath for lunch. That's enough. That'll keep you sustained.
And they're like,
holy shit, that's evil. That's so
I know.
evil.
And they frame it as like
mad.
doing something for their employees. They're like, we care about you, so join this mindfulness workshop.
I fucking
But in
hate
reality,
that shit.
it's just to make you stop complaining.
Totally. And I can see how they would use this against someone if they were having like a bad mental health day or something. Yeah. And then the employer could be like, what do you mean you're having a bad mental health day? We had the mindfulness retreat last week.
We taught you how to deal with this.
Yeah. Like,
did you not
push
do
through.
your breaths?
Did you not do
like
your
a you
breaths
issue.
every day? What the fuck? Oh my god. This reminds me of Lululemon because of their like shallow attempts to
Petra Kutra
and even the clearings.
Okay. yes. Sorry,
fine.
that's what I meant. The clearings. You're right.
Yeah. The Petra Kutra's a little too, but the clearings, like, it's
Say
just
it
fake.
And you'll
it's just
be okay.
And they're like, this is what we teach, and now you're good. And then with the thing that you have to push through your problem, like if you're feeling tired or something like that, it's like, but I'm gonna keep going, but I'm gonna keep doing it. It's not the solution. The solution isn't to overwork yourself. The solution is to take a break.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's so sad. I feel bad for us. Telling employers about mental health was like the worst thing that could have happened to the world. Because
I know, they really took that and ran with it in the wrong direction. They're like, but wait, we can blame it on our employees. We could use this to our own advantage.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, so stupid. Like, you shouldn't force people to come into work. I don't know. I just wish employers were a little bit more aware of like how fucked up. Yeah. Yeah.
Just being a person.
Yeah. Because it seems like they just, I don't know, like missing one day of work isn't going to kill you. Like,
no.
People can just not come in and then it's going to be fine. In like 12 hours, they'll be there.
And there's also ways to like set up your business to protect against these things.
Okay.
So that if somebody calls in sick for work, it doesn't affect production or doesn't affect what's happening at work. And if you're not setting up your business to deal with that, you don't care about your employees. Like that's the simple matter of the fact. People need to be able not to go to work.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, the self-care industry sucks. It has ruined self-care.
It totally has.
We need to take ownership back. And
okay.
do things not because they're supposed to make you feel better, but because they do make you feel better.
Okay, I really
what a
want
revolutionary idea.
Yeah. Because they make you feel better. Like, you feel good after doing it.
Yeah. Not because
so
you're like,
true.
I'm supposed to feel happy once I do this. Do you actually feel happy once you do that thing? And if you don't, it's not a personal failure. You're just not a cookie cutter person.
You, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. You're your own human.
Everyone is an individual.
With your own
different
likes and desires. Yes, exactly. Also, don't use tiny acts of self-care to distract you from a real issue in your life.
Oh,
if you hate your job, find a new job. Don't practice mindfulness. I mean, you can practice mindfulness if you want, if it makes you happy. But like, it's okay to actually address the bigger issue.
Yeah. You don't need
Try
to be stuck
things
in that. Totally.
Experiment. And don't feel bad if they don't work for you. Like we just said, pleasure is not a one-size-fits-all thing. Try a bunch of things out. Play. Dabble.
Ooh.
Also, listen to yourself. Understand that maybe your body doesn't work in routines. Doing the same thing every day is not always the best because you're not the same person every day and things don't happen the same every day. So it's okay not to force yourself to do certain things every day.
Yeah, you don't need to check that box every day of like meditate for 5 minutes. Like, you can just check it and just not do it.
Maybe just like meditate when I need it.
Your phone
Maybe
doesn't
that's a better
control
goal
you.
to have. Yeah.
You are in control of your phone, and like if your notification
don't download the app, guys.
Actually, yeah, that's a good takeaway. Just like don't even start with it.
Don't.
It's bad.
Read up how to do it, and then that's it. Do your own research. Don't download the app. Those notifications, once they start, they don't stop.
Oh God, they're so annoying. Even Nike
Also,
sometimes it's like,
yeah.
did you go for a run today? They're like, it's
Same.
been about a week. Maybe you
I
should get
downloaded
back
like
out there, killer.
there's like Couch to 5K that I do every
yeah.
time that I get back into running, because it's like a good way to like ease yourself back in, and it literally sends me notifications like every couple days still. It's like, dust off those running shoes. No.
Like, I threw them out.
My
There's no
dude.
dusting them off.
Shut up.
Oh, that's bad.
And last but not least, it's okay to have emotional highs and lows. As Meredith Grey once very wisely said, not everyone has to be happy all the time. That's not mental health. That's crap. And that's what I'll leave you all with.
Oh,
You don't have to be happy all the time. Self-care is
such a
good,
good
but don't
quote.
expect it to like be all roses and daisies and shit all the time. You can feel sad
Yeah.
about real sad things in your life.
And
stress
sometimes
about real
meditating
stressors.
isn't gonna help those things.
Sometimes things are real.
Yeah. Wow. Damn, that was a good one.
Self-care, if it makes you feel better. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Pretty much.
That
That's the
is
takeaway.
the thesis of this podcast. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Stop
man.
listening to
Capitalism-
anyone else, including us. Just do whatever the fuck you want.
You can take this information and literally do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So, I'm going to talk to you guys now in the second half of the podcast. It's going to touch a little bit on some of the social media stuff that we've already talked about, but it's just about how Snap Maps is ruining my life. And I don't know if a lot of people can relate to this, so I had to do a lot of research to kind of validate myself and like why I was feeling so obsessed over Snap Maps. And if you haven't fallen victim to the Snap Maps yet, you are very, very lucky, and I don't recommend that you, even if your Snap Maps are off, just don't ever turn them on. Don't start checking people's locations. Just don't start doing any of that stuff, because it's honestly not good for you. It turns into a bit of an obsession. And social media already needs to be used carefully, as we know. And with the addition of precise location sharing to only select audiences, I feel like it adds a whole new level of addiction and obsession that I did not know was possible. I've never been affected by Instagram or by Facebook as much as I have been affected by Snap Maps.
This is wild to me. Before Lydia jumps into this opinion, we just got to preface this with, I have like never used Snap Maps in my life. So this is completely new to me about how destructive it can be.
It's bad. And honestly, and like I remember asking you to turn your Snap Maps on for me when you moved to BC, and like it was like, yeah, it was so cute. I was like, I want to see that you're okay, you know, all this stuff. But if you were to ever turn the Snap Maps off, I would be like, what the fuck is going
Do you check
on?
my location?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. That's so
I'm
sweet
glad
of
you.
you.
Think it's cute. I guess it's sweet. Sometimes I check it though to like not even really communicate with people. I'll just check the Snap Maps. I'll just see the locations of like my friends, or see if anyone new has popped up or been removed, meaning they removed me from seeing their location or they're on ghost mode. And when I get removed from seeing a location, I get genuinely upset. I almost feel offended. And looking back on that feeling of rejection from being able to like see someone's exact location to not being able to see it, which is already an invasion of privacy that I'm not entitled to.
I mean, it's it is consensually invading someone's privacy, you know, like they have the location turned on, they know who can see it, they know that you can see it.
That's true.
So they
That's
are
true.
being like, look at me,
look where I am.
look where I am.
I want you to see that I'm at this cool party. But still, like,
It's
in
an
the
ounce of
olden
information
days, it
that
never
humans
would've-
don't need.
Yeah, exactly. It's just way too much, and it just, I wish it was never invented, honestly. And if I was never able to see people's locations, I don't think I would notice or care about it. But now that I can, and if it gets taken away from me, I feel like backstabbed. I'm like, bro, I thought we were homies, you know? Like, what the hell is going on? And even if it has nothing to do with me as a person, like this has happened to me before too, where someone just turns off their location for every single person because they just want to be on ghost mode. They just like get creeped out by Snap Maps one day and they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, what the hell did I do to you? why aren't we on Snap Maps together anymore? And like, I will go in and turn off my Snap Map for that person who removed me off of their Snap Map.
So petty. I honestly like I've never understood the point of Snap Maps, because it's like Snapchat is a social media app with the intention of communicating with a person.
Yeah.
Being able to see where people physically are has nothing to do with interacting with them socially. Like, it just seems like an extra thing tacked onto Snapchat that doesn't at all correlate with Snapchat. Like, it just feels like a weird second part with no point.
Kind of a weird
it serves no purpose.
I think the purpose
I don't get it.
Is like, I'm not totally sure. Like, maybe it's kind of to flex on other people. Like, if you're hanging out with a group, like, I don't know. The study I read was talking about high schoolers and like how it affects them, because like they can see directly when people are hanging out without them, and they can kind of like confirm or deny whether that's happening, and vice versa. They can, like, the group of people can see if they're just like at home doing nothing. And then it's this whole thing of like, are you going to turn off your Snap Maps now? And like, is that going to make you lose technically because you turned off your Snap Maps because you're alone and you're not with the group? And then it's like this whole like dynamic of like, other people are seeing your location, and you need to like, it's almost like a whole new level of social media basically, I think. And it's just based on your like location. And yeah, I mean, you don't communicate through it, but you do kind of communicate through it. You do. But I've also like taken a step back on this situation, and I realized that like a lot of people who don't get the Snap Map obsession just like don't get it. The girls who get it, and the girls who don't. So it could be kind of hard to empathize with this like obsession, but try to bear with me.
Oh no, I'm very interested. I'm learning a lot.
Yay. So it's just kind of like how social media is affecting the youth. Maybe I could be a case study, and you could look into like the details. I'm a perfect example of how it's like affecting me, and how information that I was never supposed to know in the first place, that was given to me on a silver platter via Snapchat, is affecting me and many other people's out there's brains. So perhaps Snap Maps, in my opinion, is the most toxic thing that social media, that Snapchat, has to offer. They say comparison is the thief of joy. And we get enough of that through like stories and through scrolling. But those things, I feel like I've had enough knowledge about like social media and stuff recently that I kind of have, I'm like okay with knowing that it's fake. And I know we were just talking about how it's like, it's fake, but you also like know it's not fake because it's real. But I still, I usually have that. Like, if something is too good to be true, I'm like, I know this is too good to be true. And like, if I start to feel like any sort of like comparison or jealousy or something like that, I'm very quick to remind myself that social media is fake, right? Like, that's just kind of like a mantra that I have going in my head to like be able to be a mindful consumer of social media. This is getting deep. So, I know like how orchestrated it all is and stuff like that, but this almost makes Snap Maps like more difficult because it is so real, because it is exactly your precise locations and stuff like that, and you're not presenting only what you choose to present, you're presenting like much more realistically. It's like being let in on a secret. It's like the reality versus the story presented to you, and you're aware of both of them. Like, if someone just posted a really cool picture on Instagram and you're like, whoa, that's so cool, and then you see their Snap Maps that they're just chilling at home, then you're like, okay, they're just like chilling at home, like posting a memory from like a couple years ago. So you're using Snap Maps
as like a validational tool.
Kind of.
Yeah. Oh no.
I know, it's so bad. And it almost feels like a win to see people at home and to like remember that, hey, they're just like me. I know this is evil. I know.
I've never even considered this. Like, I will probably turn off my Snap Maps after this. I'll leave it on for you because I think it's sweet that you can check in on me. I don't care if Lydia knows where I am, but everyone else, cut off. That's a lot. I know. I never thought anyone would like even care about where I was.
I don't know if a lot of people do. I think I'm just like unhinged on Snap Maps a little bit. No, people care.
we
People
care
care.
too.
They're like, wow, look at her living such a cool life. You're like on top of a mountain. Like, wow. Oh gosh. Anyways, when I see people out and about, I'm like, oh, like they're taking care of themselves. They're going for a walk. They're at a grocery store. They're at work. But it's like communication without actual communication, which is maybe kind of an issue. But first, the other side of the coin of like seeing people doing things without you. And obviously, this is related like directly to FOMO. And since Snap Maps is closer to reality, the FOMO is like that much more intense. And also the false sense of communication, right? So knowing someone is at work instead of texting them, are you at work? You can just check their Snap Maps. And it's kind of just a substitution for actual talking. And this kind of can give you a false sense of being in someone's life and being involved in their life when really like you have literally no involvement and you haven't spoken in 2 weeks, right? So obviously that was an example of a real life example of someone that like you might not talk to or something like that. And it's just kind of unhealthy because it's a fake string of something that's like keeping you together. It's probably one-sided. It's probably an unhealthy attachment at that point. And if I may be so bold, it is beginner stalking.
Yeah.
And like it's not terrible stalking because you're not hurting anyone, you're not harassing anyone, you're not making their life a living hell,
right?
But it is obsessive, and Snapchat is giving us the beginner tools to be full-fledged stalkers. And why? Like this shit is so dangerous to know the precise location of people. Precise. Like you can see that whether they're in their kitchen or in their bedroom based
you can see
on
that much.
Well, you can see the outside of the house, but if I've been inside your house, for example, and I see that you're in the front of your house or in the back of your house, then I know like if you're in your room or not.
Crazy.
It's so precise. I know.
What the heck?
It's so unhealthy. It's just
I feel like
not
that's a security issue too.
good. I agree.
Someone wanted to hurt you, like
easy.
yeah, had you on Snapchat and done.
Yeah, literally. Fuck. Yeah. So one time, a friend told me that even though we like hadn't talked in a week, she was keeping up with my Snap Maps and like seeing what I was up to and like checking in, like making sure I was okay and stuff like that. And of course, I was like, that's kind of cute. But also I was like, bro, why didn't you reach out to me? Like we've been in like a little bit of like a silent
This is like guardian angel. She's like,
yeah. The guardian angel of Snap Maps.
In a
She's
safe
just checking
place.
in. Yeah, she's at home. She's okay. But to them, it felt like they were reaching out and they were checking in and like seeing what's up without actually having to check. And without having to chat, sorry. And I totally understand that, but it's such a false sense of reality. Like it's just so fake. And Snapchat might be evil for that. So this feeling of communication from knowing someone's whereabouts has actually been studied. And I found a study which refers to something called the spatial self, which is location-based identity performance on social media. So this was first studied in 2014 when geotagging became a thing. So on Instagram, you could show your location now instead of just the post or whatever. And then you could open up Snapchat and just like do the at school, at Mississauga, at like Toronto, the swipes of the different filters and stuff. And so while the photos or descriptions of Instagram posts or stories are one way of connecting, sharing location mimics social interaction in real time, according to the study. And those things have been proven to cause anxiety and low self-esteem and FOMO. So we can assume that being able to live view a snap map of people doing things in real time without you is probably maybe not great for your mental health. They did the studies in adolescents too. So it was at like in high school when like clicks are everything.
Yeah.
And they noticed that people aged like 25 to 30, that was the age of the millennials at the time, they like most of them had not turned on their snap maps and like could care less. But the ages of like 14 or whatever it was, 16 to like being a teenager, they were like very affected by the snap maps because of being in high school.
I can see it becoming a way to like flaunt social status, maybe.
Yeah, right.
In like teenagers, I can definitely see that of being like, oh, we're all in this one place, or like everyone's going to this one party, or I'm at this person's house.
I can totally see people being like, turn on your snap maps for everybody so they all know we're together or something like that. Like I can see it being used in like these like kind of weird kind of ways, and like maybe finding out that like your friend isn't really your friend or something like that because they were in the bathroom with yeah. And then I read something that kind of hit home for me, and maybe it could be something that you've had in the back of your mind this whole time listening to my wild little rant. I'll quote now. Researchers examining the roles of gratification with social media found that the need to belong, as well as receive recognition through self-preservation, were the main reasons why adolescents were using social media. It would make sense that less confident adolescent users who are driven by the need to belong might be more susceptible to feeling excluded or anxious after viewing the location of friends on Snap Map. I was like, so it literally just like I was like, wow. It's like they knew I was coming here for the study. They were just like, roasted.
Boom, roasted.
So now it's a me issue. Now they're blaming it on me for being insecure and having low self-confidence when it's the app who made the stupid maps. It's a feature that's available. It shouldn't have been made in the first place if it was going to cause this much fucking issues.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. And people from this study have reported feeling addicted to checking snap maps, to feel like they know if they're a part of a group or not, even if it contributes to FOMO or anxiety. Also, they expressed how it impacted their mood when they saw something that confirmed their doubts. And even though they knew going onto snap maps could lead to negative feelings, the desire to confirm or deny self-doubt was stronger than potentially feeling anxiety or FOMO or anything negative. And honestly, I would fucking love to know who Snap Maps is benefiting. Like, who is benefiting from this feature? Why can't you just use like Google precise location?
Pointless.
You could just send your location to your friends who actually like need your location via Google Maps.
If you have someone in your life, you know, a parent, partner, best friend, whatever, that you think like needs to know where you are at all times, like Google has freaking Find My. Not Google. Apple has Find My. Like, just give someone, one person, access to your location.
It doesn't have to be this whole orchestrated bit of like where you are and what you're doing and who you're spending time with and whether your Snap Maps is turned on or off for what person and blah, 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 blah. And like, oh God, it's so crazy. And it's just like, why would they come up with this shit? They know it would make FOMO worse. And I have a theory maybe that this is kind of like related to the slot machine algorithm that Facebook and Instagram have, where SnapMap created a way to get people to constantly open the app and to constantly spend time on it. And that's kind of what I'm thinking that was their plan all along. But maybe they had honest intentions going into it. I don't think so.
Like, there's literally no reason for them to have created that. Like, it doesn't make sense with their app. So I don't think they created it with. And that does make sense because I feel like Snapchat, like, stories kind of phased out a little bit when Instagram started doing stories. So I feel like Snapchat did need something to, like, keep people opening the app if they don't have a message or don't have another reason to open it.
Oh, that's so true. So they were just like the maps, because people go on Snapchat and just check the maps, even if they have like no one to talk to at the time or something. Like, oh, dude, these people are fucking geniuses. It just ended up making people more lonely. Even if they did mean to make people feel more connected, it didn't fucking work.
How would that make, like, I know if I'm with somebody. I know if I'm in the same room as that person.
Yeah.
I don't need to look at my Snap map.
I know. And it's like,
it'll only make you feel more lonely.
Because what you don't know won't hurt you.
It
truly. Truly. Like, why are they just giving us extra pain? I just don't understand. It's stupid.
Our brains can't handle this much information. We're not built for this.
Oh my God. They really can. It's like being rejected in real life is one thing, but then on top of that, you have to be rejected on every single social media platform too. So it's like, you know what I mean though? Like, if you get rejected in real life, then you're like, okay, now, you know, we might have to block each other on Instagram depending on how bad it went. And then
delete
you have
the
to
photos.
Yeah. And then Twitter, you know, you have to make sure you block them on Twitter. And then also Snapchat, you know, now you have a choice. Do you delete them off Snapchat completely, or do you just remove them from your Snap Maps? Which is worse? Well, no one fucking knows. But it's just so many layers. It's just so many layers to rejection. Like, you can't just get rejected once anymore. You know, you have to get rejected like in 8 different ways.
And then you have to just like stew in the rejection because like
You can't talk to them.
Rejected from somebody in real life. Like, you don't see them. But now you have to deal with the fact that, like,
you have to decide
there's, like, traces of them on social media.
Yes.
But, like, you can't really see them. But you can see them in other people's pictures. And, like, maybe they'll keep you on their Snap Maps just so they can, like, torture you with
literally
living
it's
life.
Torture. It's torture. So
we don't need to watch people go on without us.
No, we don't. We can just stop. Like, it must have been so much easier for people in, like, the dark ages to move on from one person to the other.
Yes. The time before social media.
Yes, the 1990.
Medieval times.
Early 2000s, the dark ages. Fuck. I can just move on. It's just, like, fine, and no one needs to know anything. It is just, like, people can't be innocent to anything anymore. It's just so annoying. So anyways, has Snapchat always been evil? I would like to remind you quickly that maybe yes, because there was a time before all of this when Snapchat was new and they were still experimenting with things. So when we were in about grade high school, maybe lower.
Grade high school, yeah.
I don't completely remember the timeline.
I think it was high school.
When Snapchat first started, and you were able to see other people's best friends.
Oh, yeah, this was bad.
The order of the best friendships. And you could
Awful.
keep updated with it in real time. So if you Snapchatted someone enough, you would see yourself move up and then someone else move down and blah, 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 blah. And you could just, like, keep up with people's relationships like this. Like, you could see anybody's best friends. Anybody. It was fucked. It was so fucked.
It was
like,
so toxic.
It caused so much drama. Like,
it
what
did.
the fuck was that? And now I'm starting to feel like Snapchat is so overlooked as a toxic social media enemy because it feels a lot more private. It feels like you can exist on Snapchat without having to post anything, and it's just used for communication. But I really think that it's, like, overlooked, and I don't know if they have, like, honest intentions because they have a lot of different ways that are more sneaky of being toxic and getting them to stay on the app and, like, low-key affecting your mental health. Whereas Instagram and Facebook, they've been in the spotlight for a while about how fucking horrible it is for you,
and
blah, 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 all this stuff, the whistleblower. Yeah, and it's still fucking bad. But Snapchat has been on the sidelines, low-key making their app more and more toxic, more and more advertised, more and more this, more and more that. And no one's talking about it. Like, I found one study. One.
I feel like the thing that Snapchat really gets put on blast for is, like, the child pornography aspect of it.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
And I think other things get. Yeah, because it's obviously, like, a good vessel.
Yeah, because you send
nudes.
A picture. Yeah. For, like, 2 seconds and then it disappears forever.
And you can see if people if people screenshot them and, like, whatever.
Yes.
But
yes.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of skip over the other toxic parts of it.
Yeah, outside of that, because obviously like that's a horrible way to use it, and you know people use Instagram like that as well. Like it's just there's some fucking nasty people out there, but just removed from that, I feel like there's a lot of things that they're doing. Maybe not wrong because it's making us go on the apps more. Maybe not right.
Also, like, scores. I don't know why Snapchat has, like, scores. I remember that being, like, an issue for me in high school because I don't like communicating with people over Snapchat. It's not really my chosen vessel of communication, and, like, it would make me feel like I maybe, like, didn't have as much friends as other people because my score was so low, like, compared to other people. But, like, I just didn't like to talk to people. I thought it was dumb.
Yeah.
But I was, like, self-conscious about the score that I had on Snapchat.
About the score.
Which is kind of dumb.
I totally forgot about the
Just
score.
how
and
many
you can see
snaps
other
you send.
people's scores,
Yeah.
which is also toxic because if you really, really want to, you can look at someone else's Snapchat score every day and keep track of how many Snapchats they're sending every day and how many of them are to you if you really want to.
Pretty much. Which I think the score is, like, a lesser thing now, but I remember that, like, around the same time as the best friends thing.
Yeah.
Being, like,
the scores thing was a big deal too. Yeah. Because I remember when they first released that, it was just like, whoa, holy shit. Like, your score is so low, your score is so high. And I think that could also contribute a little to the nude thing because like maybe people thought you were a little bit more of a slut if you were sending like a lot of Snapchats. That means that eventually you were sending nudes.
Less a friend thing and more like a friend thing. I guess it still kind of is in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think like people who you
with,
meet
like love interests
no
on Snapchat.
Yeah, that's so true. And I definitely find too that people who I meet on Tinder, if I can tell their intentions, whether they ask me for my Snapchat or my phone number.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so this is going
Dead
nowhere. If they ask me for my Snapchat, I'm like, okay, unmatch. And then
yeah, you want a conversation that's gonna disappear in 24 hours? Nope.
Yeah, sounds sketchy. Sounds like you got something to fucking hide. You nasty. So something toxic that I may be doing on Snapchat, which I blame Snapchat for, because they gave me the power to do this shit. It's honestly not that bad though, but sometimes, and I think a lot of people do it and they don't want to admit it, if things were open and if I was just sitting at home on a Friday night, I would like turn my location off so that people didn't know where I was. But if I was going to a party downtown or like to a cool job location or something like that, I'd make sure that my Snap apps are on for everyone. Not only my 12 selected friends, for every single person. I'm like, look how cool I am. So basically, like, I'm a total sucker for the Snap maps. And honestly, it needs to end, because although it isn't affecting everyone, I think the people who are negatively affected by it should get a say in whether or not it needs to be removed. And
I think it just should be removed. I think even people who aren't negatively affected by it don't give a shit about it.
Because you don't use it.
Yeah.
What's the
It's
point
doing no
of it?
good. It's doing zero good. So it should just
remove it. And yeah, you may miss it. You may miss it when it's gone. You know, if you're obsessed with Snap maps like I am, you know, it's hard to let go. It's hard to be like, no.
Every
like...
addiction is hard to break.
Exactly. But honestly, it's worth it, because you'll feel better about yourself, and you'll just feel better in fucking general. Overall, Snapchat is toxic, and yeah, I think it needs to be included in the conversation about social media more, like, and aside from like the creepy stuff that can happen on Snapchat, but more of like the social aspect of what's happening on Snapchat. Because like, yeah, I've heard about like the nudes and stuff being sent over is bad, but also they have a lot of built-in stuff that is deliberate and that is deliberately supposed to be kind of like bad for you. And also, as a final note, it felt very validated to read the study and to see that there were some other people who were going through this, and then to be roasted by the study was also kind of nice, because it really gave me a shock to reality.
You're not roasted by the study. I very much stand behind that it is the platform's fault. It's not your fault.
Thank you. I think it's the platform's fault too,
because
they gave me the
are
tools.
Searching for belonging. Like, everyone wants to belong, and everyone wants to feel part of like a group, and literally Snapchat is making a tool to make people feel excluded.
Feel excluded.
It's not your fault that you feel excluded. Like, they designed a tool to do that.
Literally.
And you might not even be like
this?
People might not be excluding you either. But like,
yeah,
without the context,
right?
It feels like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just overall no bueno.
Nope, bad. So what have we learned? Snapchat bad. Self-care industry bad. Bad.
Self-care good.
Thumbs
Communicating with friends good. Self-care good.
Industry bad.
Snapchat
bad.
Very good. I feel good. I feel like I got it off my chest.
I'm happy for you. I think that you should turn it off.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know.
It sounds like that's a good solution to this.
Turn off my Snap maps so that no one can see where I am, but that I can still check the Snap maps though and see where other people are. But I guess it would remove like part of the toxicity of like me doing my location.
Yeah, there's no way that you can like, can you like just remove the maps?
I don't think you can opt out of maps. No. I think you can only do it if you've never turned them on before.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's not that. That's stupid. They should make it easier to opt out of a toxic thing.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no reason why you need it.
Yeah, I never looked into that. I just accepted that it was in my life and that it would drive me a little nuts. Wow. There's a whole other way I could be living right now.
Yeah. Free yourself from Snap maps. You can send me your
I will.
Find
I think
My.
I will.
I promise you I will never check it, just for safety reasons. I never check Find My. I don't care where people are. But if you ever like get kidnapped, I can find you, you know?
Yay! Okay, sounds good.
Delete Snap maps.
I just don't want to. I want them to do it for me. I just don't know if I'm strong enough. Like, I definitely am.
We'll write a letter.
Okay, sounds good.
Write a letter to
Yeah, we should start a petition. Born in
Start- yes,
1964.
yes.
Yeah. We should be like,
Sign our
listen, buddy,
petition.
it's
Delete
bad
Snap
for
Maps.
us. I agree. Perfect.
Case closed.
I decree. And that brings us to the end of the podcast, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Courtney's opinion on how self-care industry has just taken things to the point where it's just not even self-care anymore, and everything has been corrupted by capitalism. Wow. Shocker. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, good time. And thank you for listening to my opinion about Snap Maps and how it has corrupted my brain and many others. And if you want to hear more of us, you totally can. You can follow us on Instagram at very.unimportant.people. You can follow us on TikTok, which you can definitely find us on there. So good luck. Get there. We love the love we've been feeling from the episode about Lululemon. So thank you so much. Keep bringing that.
Positivity.
And yeah, we love the positivity. It's a good change of pace. And you can also follow us on Twitter at @VUnimportantPPL. And you can tune in every Monday, which is when we release a new podcast. So make sure you're wherever you listen to your podcasts at. Every Monday, baby, we're here. And we're ready to party. Unless we're not, which only happened once, which was because of Christmas. But you can follow us on Instagram and know when those things happen. So it all comes full circle. And finally, you can find us on Patreon, which is in our Instagram link tree, and just click on our Patreon and you can go there and you can find some cool videos and you can find some fun stuff. And we have like 52 weeks of content up now. So that $3, that $4 is going to be fucking worth it. Yeah. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, everyone, and have a great